Good morning, guys. I'm Chris, and welcome back to another episode of Rift Amps. I bet some of you think I make up how much rain we get here. But I don't. It's all real. This is the middle of June 2024, the Great British Summer. It's just ridiculous. More repairs. Boy, is it busy. Right, so here we have a Fender Deluxe Reverb reissue that keeps blowing fuses. So the customer kindly dropped this into me, and we shall see if we can find out what's going on with it. Interesting thing about this amplifier is that he bought this, he thinks about 10 years ago, in Spain, where he was living at the time. So it is a 230 volt model, which doesn't actually mean it's any different from the UK ones, because the UK spec ones are also wired for 230 volt, but they're quite a common and popular thing to do, because it does have a 240 volt tap, is to rewire them for 240 internally, which I'm going to do on this anyway, but it's still got the European plug on it that he's using with an adapter. So but that does mean, well, it doesn't really mean anything, does it? Yeah, it's good. So let's get this thing open, have a look inside, and see if we can work out why it keeps blowing the mains fuse. On the bench, visual inspection of the chassis. It all looks to be pretty normal, to be honest. No signs of anything burnt, broken, damaged. All seems to be normal. The output valves look okay. Rectifier valve looks okay. I see no reason why. Well, there's no visual indication at the moment. I haven't looked under the doghouse, but with a new fuse in place, we'll fire it up through the current limiting device. So we've got a light bulb in series with the live, so it's on my restriction mode. When I turn this on, if it was working fine, I would expect to see the light bulb glow to a reasonable level quite quickly and then dim down as the amplifier warms up. If there's a fault in here and a short current is flowing, or fault current I should say, the bulb will glow full brightness. So here we go. Full brightness. There we have a problem. So I'm going to spin this thing over, have a look under the doghouse, see if there's anything there. If not, we're going to start pulling valves and see if we can isolate where in the circuit this fault may be. Doghouse removed, and as we inspect the filter caps on the board, none of them are bulging or leaking. None of the dropping resistors are burning or have been burnt or overheated. So I suspect the issue is upstream of the B+ rail. So are we looking at a transformer, or maybe just a valve problem? So my next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the rectifier valve first, fire it up, see if we get our light bulb short. If we still do, then we'll keep going and see where we are. Right, I've got to be quick, but interesting has just happened. I just thought I'd fire it up again, now it's upside down, and the bulb is no longer glowing at full brightness. So I've got my trusty chopstick, and I'm just going to tap this rectifier valve and watch what happens. I'll zoom you in. I can turn the short on and off by hitting that rectifier valve. There you go, fully on, hit it again, turn it off. I can control, I'll zoom out because you won't believe this. This is unbelievable. Here we go, GZ34. Off. Can literally control the short. Can I do it by wobbling it? Yeah. Would you believe it? Woo! Is this the shortest diagnosis ever? I don't know. Right, we'll stick a new GZ34 in. And we will then... Oh, sorry. Try it again. New JJ GZ34 installed. We're still using the light bulbs. That's still in circuit. And the short has disappeared. Okay, so going to set this up on the bench properly now, do all my measurements, check the bias, convert to 240 volt, and then soak test it. But yeah, this Ruby branded JZ34 5AR4 is dead. Right, job done. I've swapped the connectors CP2 and CP8 around, which converts it from 230 volt to 240 volt. New rectifier in, of course, and I've just set the bias. So there we go, that's our output sine wave. We're doing 12.6 volts into 8 ohms. That puts us 12 and a half is 19 and a half watts. So we're in the ballpark. And we will call that one, after it's had an hour or so to burn in, we'll call it done. This PR18 is finally fired up on the bench. Some of you commented that you struggle to see the purple trace on the oscilloscope, so I will be using the yellow trace from now on for most of the stuff. So we've got this running. It's not at maximum power. I've just got it running at a nice 10 volts output, which is around 12 and a half watts or so, 12, 13 watts. So that's just burning in nicely. As it is, I'll just show you the tremolo. There it is. Working great. Just switch that off. So we'll leave that running. That's got probably another 6 to 7 hours to do before we can call this one complete. I need to get the cabinet dressed, speaker loaded, all that kind of stuff. And then I can call the customer and tell him it is ready, because I think he's coming all the way down from up north to collect this. Carr Mercury, which is an 8-watt single-ended amplifier. This one is in for repair and service. This is owned by the chap who also owns the Top Hat, so he's got 2 in with it at the moment. God, I'm busy on repairs lately, aren't I? Wow, lots to do. Right, anyway, Carr Mercury, what have we got on top? Volume, 3-position boost, treble and bass, reverb, and output reduction with a cut switch. Standby on and off. What's it in for? He said ever since he bought it, because he's bought this second hand, it's had an intermittent cutout issue where all of the audio will disappear and then eventually it will come back. One of the interesting things he said was, as this amplifier, when it cuts out, you get a noticeable increase in hum from the amplifier. Okay, that's interesting. He also said the reverb does some strange things, and I'm going to demonstrate that to you shortly. Okay, amplifier is on, slight bit of hum, but nothing too excessive. But if I hit the amplifier, nothing. If I bring up the reverb control, we'll go halfway, and I hit it. Now, sorry, that was loud. You can actually affect the level, the volume level of that noise with the reverb control, which indicates that it's upstream of the reverb pot. So we've got 2 issues with this. The intermittent cutting out and that reverb issue. So let's get the back off and let's have a cheeky peek inside. Something I've just noticed that did make me laugh was the size of this speaker cable. All right, this is an 8-watt amplifier. Probably does 12 at a push. This thing is monstrous. I mean, that's just complete overkill. But there you go. Eminence, Patriot, red, white and blue speaker. I quite like those. Yeah, don't mind those. Got a tube chart in the back. Tells you lots of information. Bias points, bias adjustment, what valves it takes, etc., etc. So this is June the 3rd, 2007. Cool. Right. Here's the chassis. It is chassis number 0977. Power transformer. That's your bias pot. In some strange enclosure. Got probably a choke here. Yep, got a choke. Output transformer. Reverb transformer. Now, you see how he's angled these in a particular way to reduce electrically magnetic coupled hum. So he's thought about the position of these and put them exactly where they're quietest, which is a good thing. Also, he's very kindly, because the reverb cables are the same colour, he's marked one of them with a negative sign, and he's done the same on the chassis. So that's good. That's excellent. It's got the same valve covers as we found on the top hat, which makes me think maybe it's the customer that fitted these rather than the manufacturer. Can't do this one-handed. Come on, there you go. But those windows, how is it working as a Faraday cage when it's half open? I don't know. Anyway. So, nice chassis. Nice welded chassis, look. Very nice. All good. Got some cooling vents here. Does an 8-watt amp get that hot? Well, who knows. Let's spin it over. Have a look inside. On the bench, and here she is. So, as we've seen before with Carr stuff, on the surface it looks very complicated, very messy, but as I've said 100 times before, if you've ever worked on old radios, old radiograms, TVs and things like that, this is an absolute piece of cake. So I won't be taking any of those nasty comments from you lot. This is all good. Anyway, overall, quite a simple amplifier. The only difference from a standard single-ended amplifier, is that it's obviously got a bias pot, so it's fixed bias, so there's that to consider. We've got a 3-position voicing switch here, treble and bass control, reverb control here, and we've got this output control here that allows us to switch from 8 watts to 2 watts to half a watt to 1/10 of a watt. Okay, we've currently got that in 8-watt mode. And if I run the amplifier at 8 watts, so we're putting out 8 volts. So if you remember, it's voltage squared divided by resistance. So 8 times 8, 64, divided by 8 ohms gives us 8 watts, right? Just to confirm, 8 ohm, 8 volts, 8 watts, right? So that's what 8 watts of output looks like. Okay, let's turn this control. So that's the 8-watt mode, and we're going to turn it. Are you ready? That's meant to be 2 watts. Nothing's changed. It's still doing 8 volts. Let's go to half a watt mode. Nothing's changed. It's still doing 8 watts. Let's go to 1/10 of a watt. It's still doing 8 watts. Something's not good there. Not happy with that. Something strange is going on. Now, this is even weirder. We'll put it back to 8 watts, full power. Now, this switch here is a cut control that says it changes the upper harmonic content of the amplifier, the upper treble frequencies, right? So if I switch that switch now, we do get a change in output, and now we're down to 5.8 volts, which is somewhere between 3.8 and 4.5 watts output. So we've got a bit of a reduction there. Now, my switch is back in the 8 watt position. We'll go to 2 watts, and we gain output. We go to half a watt, we gain more output. 1 watt, we gain more output again. There's something very strange going on with this switching circuit. I don't know why. Don't even know how it works because there's not a schematic, so I'm going to have to figure that one out. But this thing is not healthy. I mean, is that the cause of this intermittent cutout issue? Now, with the reverb control up, I haven't got the reverb tank connected. If I hit the amplifier, you can see something's there is not happy. Let's get my prodding stick. And let's go through and give it a good old prod. Can we find where our issue might lie? More investigation required. So yeah, not a healthy amplifier, not performing as expected. I don't know why. We've got a lot of investigation to do. Fingers crossed it's not too complicated. WEM Dominator on the bench. So I have now replaced the electrolytic can cap, the electrolytic cap on the board, and the bypass cap for the output stage. Had to do a couple of trace repairs on the underside of the board. I haven't done anything else other than just put a temporary jack socket on the output so I can get this thing running on the bench, and here we are. Looks like a pretty nice, let's try and get you in there so you can see, pretty nice output. It's doing 10.2 volts into 8 ohms, which is around 13 volts, which even though these were rated at 17, by today's measuring standard, 12 watts is about right. So, couple of things. I'm running in the second channel. As I rotate the control, you can see it's quite dirty and quite scratchy. And when it starts to overdrive, as is typical of cathode biased EL84 amplifiers, so you've got squaring off at the top at the bottom there. But as it really starts to overdrive, you do get that crossover distortion now. That's not a sign that it's underbiased. That's just typically what these amplifiers do. It's when you're running at this maximum clean, you don't want to be seeing any crossover distortion. So this one's quite good actually, quite nice. So it is running. So that's this channel. We'll try channel 1. Bit of a dirty control on this one. Yeah, still quite low output, you see. So we've got a lot of servicing to do on this one. But the second channel is pretty good. Not bad, eh? So you need to go through, give it a service, make sure I'm happy with everything. But this one is now alive. It is passing an audio signal. So yeah, good progress. Well, that's it then, guys. Thank you very much for watching once again. Bit of a shorter episode this week, or at least compared to Wednesday's video. I'm so busy here at the moment. I'm juggling all the repairs and all of the builds and all the paperwork and stuff that go with running a business. So absolutely flat out. I've never known a May-June period like it. So I want to say thank you to everyone who's given me your patronage. So please give this video a thumbs up, comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you know when I get a new video out. And if you want to join the channel that these guys have, I would be really, really appreciative. And I will catch you all at the next one.